Hello there, I'm Artistic Gamer 7, and welcome back to some more Sims 4 building, decorating, designing, and such of this ginormous mansion that I have been working on throughout a while now. Anyway, if you have already seen the previous parts of this, welcome back. I will get to you momentarily. As for anyone who's potentially just randomly clicked on this video, there is actually some few parts before this. This is actually part 5. I normally don't do speed builds split up into several parts. I try to make them in the least amount of parts, usually only in one video. I have a few builds that have to go into 2, 3, 4 parts. I think 4 is the largest I've ever had before, and that was like my St. Albans build, which was for my Haunted build series, which I may have actually got that down to 3. I don't remember. It was a chance that it was going to be 4, but it's been a bit of time, so I don't fully remember if I actually had 4 or 3 parts on that. But anyway, I actually explain why I do this one in so many parts. I actually purposely am doing it the way that I am currently doing it in so many parts for several reasons. So go to check out the link down in the description below and click on the playlist and start from the beginning, and in part 1 is where I go into full depth explanation on why I split it up to so many parts. If you're coming to it like later on after many of the parts have showed up, obviously it won't seem like you could watch them close together anyway, but I do have many reasons why I did this one the way that I have chosen to do it. But anyway, for those of you who have been watching up to this part, thank you so much for staying dedicated through this build series, because it's basically a series at this point, and watching it all the way through and looking forward to seeing the end result. I know I'm excited to see the end result, and I hope others are as well. Currently, we are working on what is the pool area, which is down in the basement. If you watched the last part, obviously you know that last minute I sort of chose to make another basement level because I realized, like, I didn't have a whole lot of, like, activity rooms, I guess, in a way. You know, things for my Sims to do, also areas for them to be locked out of, because I am going to be doing a little mini-series where I actually do have Sims living in this house, which are the Sims that are created based off of my D&D characters that I've come up with, which is a cast series that is going on right now. There also will be a link to that down in the description below. If you have not got a chance to start that series, or you wasn't aware of it, you can go and click that down in the description below and start watching it. So basically, there's going to be 30-some Sims living in this house. Thanks to MCC, I am going to up my threshold to how many Sims can live in the house so that I can do that. But it's going to probably cause chaos. But I'm also going to be using D&D dice to decide whether or not Sims have access to certain rooms. Therefore, I actually need a few different rooms for them to potentially not get access to, so that it is more of like an actual punishment for rolling a low number. But also, I have some Sims who are going to be, I'm going to make them mermaids in Sims World, Sims Lure, and it would be sort of cool of me not to have somewhere for them to swim, at least every once in a while. So, I was like, I really need a pool room. Wouldn't hurt to have a few other rooms, so there's extra rooms now, and I also made more bedrooms so more Sims could join. Originally, I think it was only going to be 26, 28 Sims living in this house, and now I think it's 32 or 34. I'm not sure the exact number. I don't remember all the bedrooms that I added or how many bedrooms I added. I added like 4, I think. 4 or 6. I don't think I added more than 6 bedrooms. But anyway, as for the pool room here, I did decide to go with sort of a beachy theme. As for me, I am building this build in Glimmerbrook, so therefore there's not really a beach or anything like that nearby. So I figured, you know, if I'm going to have a pool room, I can give them some beachy vibes through the pool room. So I used more colors that I associate with more of a beach style, beach design, adding a bunch of chairs, because again, there's going to be a lot of Sims in this, and if all my Sims have a day where they all have good rolls, they all will have access to the pool. So I don't know how many Sims potentially will just want to sit and chat at the pool. Because, you know, like I said, I'm trying to build it with sort of a beachy vibe. So therefore, you know, they may just want to come down here and chill next to the water, enjoy some relaxation with some friends that are living in the house with them. So I definitely constantly am thinking about seating and chairs and stuff like that, because Sims will, you never know when they're going to sit and you never know where they're going to sit. They may be talking to someone who is standing behind said chair, but they'll still sit in that chair and just constantly move their head trying to look at that sim, but they can't actually look at the sim because they're right directly behind them. But anyway, Sims don't have the smartest of brains, apparently. But yeah, so chairs are constantly a thing throughout this whole entire build. I want to make sure that there's areas for them to sit and relax and chit-chat. Maybe there's a group of them that want to hang out in the pool area and sit and chat, but then there's another group that doesn't want to hang out with that group, so they're gonna go sit in the study. You never know. I don't know what's gonna happen with this little mini-series, because basically what I'm doing is letting my Sims sort of do whatever they want. I'll have very little control over their lives. The only time that I might have control over them is in situations where if they're not feeding the cat, because there is going to be a cat, if you have watched the Create a Sim series, or at least the very first one, because the very first one has Nita, which has a pet included with her, so if they're not feeding the pretty little snow leopard, well, they're gonna I'm gonna make them feed the pretty little snow leopard. So situations like that, there's a few other situations, like if for some reason they're not eating, and I know that they need to eat, I might, tell them to get food, or at least drag a plate near them, or something. But yeah, so there are gonna be a few cases here and there. I think maybe on Saturday when, I'm actually trying to get them to go, because I think what I'm gonna do is, I'll record, each episode, depending on how it goes, will be, a few days, and on Saturday they'll get to go out somewhere, unless they rolled, so many nat ones throughout the week, and then, no. You don't get to go, I'm sorry. But yeah, so when they go out and stuff, I might make them do group dances and stuff, just for fun, but for the most part, I am not going to be controlling these Sims whatsoever. Part of this little mini-series is testing how in the world all these Sims with all these different personalities are going to act. And the fact that they've now added likes and dislikes helps that even more. I'm going to be using a mod as long as it's still working by the time I record this mini-series that gives them 5 traits instead of 3. Therefore, that adds a little bit more personality to their characters. I'm going to give some of them a few things here and there. I'm going to adjust some of their skills based off of the type of character that I created them as in D&D. So, if they're someone who is a swimming type, they're probably going to have a higher fitness and such. If they're a, more studies type, a wizard of some kind or something, they're probably going to have a little bit more in skills that are more writing and stuff like that. So, depending on, the type of character they are and stuff like that, I'll give them a few skills. I won't max out anyone's skills just because part of the thing, I want to see if they actually will do the skills that they already have up pretty high, if they actually will think of that, especially with likes and dislikes now. That especially is going to add some to it. I will have Slice of Life and MCC also doing a few things here in the background. So just to sort of see how they act and how they are without me really controlling them or what happens. I'm sure it's going to be chaos to some degree. I just don't know how much chaos. I'm hoping for a joyful amount of chaos. I actually think in one of my comments, I had a comment on the first one by Smurfette, and I said I want joyful chaos. So yeah, but overall we'll see what happens when all these Sims are put in together. Now by this point you should be seeing me work on the dance floor area, has slightly nightclubby vibes. Mind you, I've never been to an actual full-on nightclub. I've been to bars that have elements of a nightclub, they have a dance section or whatever, but even though I live close to a college town and the bars that I've went to are in that college town, I'm gonna be honest with you, we still a small town. No matter, there's no getting around the fact that we are a small town, so there's no full-on nightclub. So I've never been to a nightclub, but I'm saying this is nightclub vibes from my acknowledgement of nightclubs. But I did go with the purple and black theme. I really like that dance floor, and to me, it gives the strongest nightclub vibes. So that's why I used it, and the options were blue, orange, and purple with, what is it, gray, white, and black. There may be another option as like the other base color. But I personally just really like purple the most, so I wanted to do purple and black. I do add a few hints of yellow with the plants. Yes, I know I say that color weird. My boyfriend will never let me live it down, so feel free to attack me in the comments for how I say the color yellow. I just can't help it. I can't help it. You have to live with it. But yeah, I actually really like purple and yellow together. They are technically supposed to be complementary colors. And if you're not quite sure what complementary colors are, they are technically the colors that are adjacent from, like, across from each other on the color wheel, and they make each other stand out a little bit better. Now, most people, most of the time when you're talking about complementary colors, you're mainly talking about primary and secondary colors, but you can technically do that with any of the colors, the tertiary colors, so on and so forth, just as you add them to the wheel. But for the most part, it doesn't look quite as good as if you're just talking about the primary and secondary colors. And purple and yellow are technically supposed to be complementary colors, but from my knowledge from doing art stuff and like just hearing people talk about it, purple and yellow tend to be the complementary color set that people like the least, which really saddens me because it's actually my favorite. I just think they look so good together. I think they pop out a whole lot more and just look really good. And like I think they like truly do complement each other, I believe. Now obviously if you're getting certain shades or tints of purple and yellow, it probably is going to be a slightly different story, but you can say that about any of the complementary colors. But overall, more shades and tints of purples and yellows I like together than I do the other complementary colors. My least favorite is blue and orange, which a lot of things use the complementary colors. If you actually really pay attention to it, just because it is appealing to the eye, even if you don't realize it. For me, one of the most relevant blue and orange references I can give is I live in the state of Virginia, and in the College of Virginia, University of Virginia, their colors are blue and orange. That is my least favorite complementary color set. There are certain shades and tints of blues and orange that I think actually look really good together, and I really like them. And there are a few instances where technically blue and orange is together, but they're not like as together. My meaning behind that is like my most easy way to describe what I'm trying to say is Samus Aran. She has an orange outside suit, orange, yellow, and red, orange being the main color, and she has her bodysuit underneath that suit, her, what is the suit called? I'm for some reason forgetting it right now. But the armored suit, we're just gonna go with, is, underneath it is her Zero suit, which is blue, and I think that looks really good, and I think it looks nice when, like, it's transitioning from one to the other. But technically, you never see the blue and the orange together for a really extremely long time. And I haven't played all the Metroid games, so I can't fully quote on all of them, but I know, like, with Smash Brothers, with the Ultimate and stuff like that, sometimes you get a glimpse of the two together when the armor is coming off. There's been, like, cutscenes and stuff with it, so that's more of what I'm meaning, but ultimately, in the end, you really don't see them together, per se. So even that, I don't tend to like those two together. I don't know why, it's just, meh. I feel like the lighter tints of those two colors look better. I feel like the darker it gets, like the deeper into the shades of orange and blue it gets, the worse it gets. But, Now, the other complementary set, I sort of like, but at the same time, it is the strongest case of something using a complementary color to make it appealing and make it sell. And because of that is the reason why I don't fully like it, because I don't want to be thinking of this all year round. And that is red and green, aka Christmas colors. Now, red is my favorite color, oddly enough, and green is oddly enough my boyfriend's favorite color. So, technically I should like them together more, but it's just, they remind me too much of Christmas, and I don't want to be thinking about Christmas in any month but, like, December. Really? I am not one of those people that are, like, planning my Christmas decorations in June, July. I don't even plan Christmas presents that far ahead. Some people start buying Christmas presents and, like, stockpiling them. Yeah, I don't do that. I get enough for Christmas. I work retail. I just can't. But I think red and green does look pretty good together, actually, and there's definitely shades and tints of red and green that look really good together. I really like when you start getting into more of a coral, salmon, peachy color with almost a mint. So technically, obviously, those are becoming new colors at that point, but technically they are a variation of red and green in a way. You're just adding other colors into them that slightly change it, mainly like lights and darks, basically. But you know, they're sort of in the same family as red and green. I love those two colors together. I love them together. But when you get to the pure green and the pure red, too much Christmassy. It's okay in December, but outside of December, I'm like, I'm done. But overall, I ended up really liking, getting back to the actual build here, I really liked how the little, like, dance room, dance club, hangout area sort of came together. I like how it ultimately looked. I was trying a few different things, but sometimes I'm like, one of the big points of this build, obviously, was like, I really wanted to focus on little details. I want to make sure that I'm putting things on walls where needed. But sometimes when you get these pattern walls, these walls that have a pattern on them or a design on them, I feel like it can get to the point where it's too much if you start putting too many things on the walls. So I do struggle sometimes when I'm like decorating, like, I'm like, am I putting too much? Is it too much going on? Am I not putting enough? Like, what's... I'm never sure. I'm never 100% sure, but, like... So, like, you may have seen me testing stuff all... Especially back behind the DJ booth. Ended up going with a pretty simple picture. I felt like something too complex would have been too much in that room. But now we're in, like, the little games room. It's got some arcades, it's got some ping pong, it's got even a little keg thing. I thought that'd be a little fun addition into that room. It's got a little, dartboard. What is that called? There's an official name of that board, isn't it? Anyway, dartboard. I'm going with dartboard for now. There is a little bit of seating in here. I do put a TV in here. There's a little game table over there, but funny enough, you may notice that I put a little thing on top of it instead of, like, just being the regular games table. So I actually found a little CC thing where someone had made basically the little card game that they play look like it could be Dungeons and Dragons. And considering that this is a house for my D&D characters that I'm trying to make into Sims, I thought putting a D&D little game board down here was a little funny touch to add to it. And it would be interesting to see if any of my characters decide to try to play D&D. Do they like being D&D characters so much that they themselves also make D&D characters and play D&D? And then that sparks the question, what type of characters would my D&D characters make? Like, what would they come up with? Like, it's sort of one of those things that really hurts my brain, but really intrigues my brain at the same time. Type deal. Like, I'm making these characters with all these different personalities. Now, what type of character would I think they would make? If they were, like, asked to make a D&D character. But yeah, who actually knows? I do add, like, a little stereo thing. Overall, I want this to be a chill hangout room. I didn't want to go with too many dark colors, because obviously you could see I started putting, like, the black walls and stuff like that, and I almost went in a similar direction as the dance room, but then I changed my train of thought very quickly, because I didn't want those two rooms to be samey. So I actually went with, like, these pastel colors and, like, these more lighter tones, and I think it actually looked really good with the black. It's a little bit different. I don't think I've, like, fully ever tried these colors with the black on top of it as well. And, like, some of this other stuff going on. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about this pastel meets black room here, little game room. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see my Sims actually chilling out down here. Like I said, like, there's some seating. I got, like, some little small cushions and a little love seat, and obviously there's the game chairs around the little D&D game. But considering a lot of the things that they potentially would be doing in here versus, like, the dance room, they might grab a drink and want to chill on one of the bar stools and actually, or chill on the love seat and sip the drink before they go back onto the dance floor. But here, most of these things, they're probably constantly going to be up and standing and moving around and playing these different games in here. But this would be a room that I would potentially hang... If I wasn't allowed to just stay in my room and I was in this mansion, this would probably be one of the rooms I was in more often. Personally, you know, if I wasn't in... Couldn't stay in my own bedroom. Otherwise, I'd probably stay in my own bedroom. There's a lot of people in this house. I have social anxiety and just normal all-around anxiety. I'll just stay an awkward duckling and stay in my room. Now we are going to be moving on to the study here soon, and I think originally I was planning on putting the study upstairs, because there is a room upstairs. I think I mentioned it in the last part. Or I think. I could be confused at this point, because technically this is the third time that I'm recording this voiceover. The first time, my boyfriend called when I was partially halfway through the voiceover, and I ended up talking to him for like an hour, and then completely forgot my train of thought and where I left off. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna start from the very beginning. The second time, I made it almost to the end of the video. I think it was like only 2 minutes left, and the power cut off. So, woo! Third time trying this voiceover. If you're hearing this one, third time was a charm. But yeah, so anyway, we're here in the study, which I go to my usual study habits of using a lot of browns and tans, but I just think it looks really good for a study, and I always think of wood flooring for studies. I think they're better, and then, you know, you can have a rug in there or whatever. So I feel like I just said whatever 10 million times there, but I about said it again. Anyway. Just instinctively about said it again as I'm saying I probably said it too much. Anyway, so I really do like wood tones in studies. Like, it is like one of my favorite things. I need to try to branch out one time from the usual wood tones for the study. I use a lot, but I like it. As you see, I'm also pondering the shape of the pool here, because I start thinking the study is too small. I think ultimately I squish those rooms over on the other side and keep the pool the same, because I don't want the pool any smaller. I already was like, sort of small, considering at some point there may be 20-some people trying to get into this pool. I don't know what my Sims are going to do. I'm not controlling them, so for all I know, all of them decide to go to the pool at the same time. If they have access to said pool, anyway. But yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. And technically, with how I'm going to do it, they will have relationships with some people. Some of them are going to have relationships with people outside of this household. I'm going to create those people, like, real quickly. I'm not going to do a create a sim on them. But, like, Ira, she has a child, so I'm actually going to have the child out in the world somewhere. Who else can I use as an example? Nyx has a sister. His sister's going to be roaming around somewhere, but they're not main characters that I made for, like, I made, like, a huge backstory for. They were basically side characters to the backstories of my main characters. So I still want to create them just as, like, that is some of my character's backstory. Itzel, his whole thing is to go and try to get his sister out. So, like, that's a big part of his backstory, but she herself is not, like, a main character per se. So I am going to make her. She is going to be in the background. And technically, since this is Sims, I can't fully control them not showing up. So she might show up. We'll just go slightly different in the lore for the Sims. But yeah, or we'll just say something like every once in a while she actually comes out, but she's like brainwashed, so she goes back to, and Itzel tries to convince her to stay, but she won't stay. But anyway, we'll figure something out. But yeah, so I'm going to make some of those characters that they have connections with, but they're not going to be in the house, but who knows, they might come to the house, and they might make friends, and those friends might come over, and then there's going to be more than 32 people in this house. So, plus I'm probably going to have a maid, at least. Not that she's going to be getting in the pool, or he. Usually I get females. I have a few male maids every once in a while, but most of the time I get female maids. But yeah, not that they're going to be going in the pool, but you get my point. There's going to be a lot of Sims in this house all at one time, and I just need to make sure that, you know, things are accommodating and planned for just in case multiple Sims try to go into the same area at the same time. Anyway, back to the study. So with the study, I actually really like how it turned out. Yes, it's my typical beigey wood tones and stuff like that, but with getting to do some of the little decorations in it and stuff, I actually had a lot of fun with, like, these little shelves that I put over in this one area, and I really like the rug and the layout of the sitting area in the middle. Like, you know, I want to chill and sit and read a book, but, you know, you got your computer so that the computers can be used. I'm probably going to get annoyed at these computers, because Sims will probably try to use the computers a whole lot. I think some of my Sims, I might give them computers in the room, depending on basically their personality. Ultimately, these are going to be the main computers. Seeing a bunch of Sims fight over 4 computers might be interesting, so that's why I don't know if many of my Sims will have a computer in their room. We'll see when I get there. I'm actually super excited to get to the rooms. I've been talking so much that I needed to gasp for breath more than I realized I needed to. Anyway, I'm super excited to get to the bedrooms. I've mentioned it a few times by now, but I am so excited to get to their bedrooms, because to me, bedrooms, no matter whether I'm building it for D&D characters, or my Not-So-Berry family, or my Eevee family, or Sims that I'm playing off camera, or a random build that I'm making that I don't even fully know the Sims that I'm making it for, bedrooms are where, to me, the most personality is going to shine. Now, when it comes to bigger houses, sometimes the master bedroom, it has personality in it, but not compared to, like, the kids' rooms, or, like, you know, if you have a live-in guest, like, your sim has a sibling who is staying with you. I have fun with bedrooms, because to me, I get to go crazy with personality stuff, and it's okay if it's technically too much, because if you look at my bedroom, I have too much stuff in my bedroom. I just do. But so it works, because that's how it is, versus, you know, a study or a living room. There needs to be at least, it doesn't have to be clean all the time, but there needs to be at least some level of organization and room for multiple people, versus a bedroom is for, like, one person. Two, every once in a while, you know, you might have friends come into your room, but chances are you're only going to have, like, you know, friends that you're really close with. It's gotta be, like, just a few people. But the bedrooms are where the personality shines, and I'm looking forward to doing the bedrooms, but I am doing them last. I'm torturing myself by doing them last, but I am doing them last. But yeah, I hope you're looking forward to the bedrooms, too, because I am so looking forward to the bedrooms. I am so excited for them. But the video is coming to an end, part 6 here. I hope you're enjoying this so far. I hope you like how the pool, the dance room, the game room, and the study all turned out, the rooms that we got done in this one. In the next part, you should be seeing a few more bathrooms get done, and the entryway get done, and the kitchen. I don't know how far in the kitchen we're going to get, but there at least should be a start of the kitchen. So that's what you can look forward to in the next part. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for making it all the way to the end. If you've gotten to the end here, it means a whole lot that you sat here and watched this and enjoyed the build the whole time. Thank you so much, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss out on the next one too. But anyway, bye-bye for now.